All right, guys. So let's take a look at probability. What probability means is how likely things are going to happen. Like if you ask me right now, what's the probability that it's going to rain today? I'll say it 100%. Right? Likely it's going to happen 100%. But we're gonna see this our probability in fractions. So looking at question number 1, what is the probability of the spinner? You guys see my spinner at the right, not landing, keep in mind said not landing on C or E. So first I need to see how many of those are not C or E. And I count them, there's 1, 2, and 3. So I'm gonna say 3 on top. Because remember, I look how many are not C or E. Remember it says not landing on C or E, so 3. And then at the bottom of my fraction, I'm gonna count how many there are total. There's 8 of them. So probability of spinner not landing on C or E is 3 out of 8. Let me take a look at question number 2. What is the probability of the spinner landing on A or E? A or E. All right, so looking at question number 2, what is the probability of the spinner landing on A or E? So I'm going to see how many of those are A or E. And I see there's 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to say 3 out of 8. By coincidence, my answer was the same on both, but it's not all the way through. I say it was just coincidence. This probability, it's something actually we see a lot. Because this fraction I can make it into a percent. Right? 3 divided by 8 gives me a decimal. My decimal I can convert it to a percent. What in percentage, what it is, anything close to 0 means it's not going to happen. Anything close to 100 means it will happen. Somewhere around 50, that means I don't know. So if you guys watch the news and they tell you, probability that of rain is 10%, that means it's not going to rain. If you guys watch the news and like, oh, probability of rain is 80%, that means it will rain because it's close to 100. If they say 40 or 60, that's close to 50, that means they don't know. So when you ask them, if they tell you probability of rain tomorrow is 40%, that means that person does not know. That's basically what they're telling you. I don't know. So like I said, probability is something we see, but we're looking at it today in fractions. My first 7 questions, you guys see my big line in the middle. My first 7 questions are relating to the one figure. I have the big line in the middle because that questions 8 through 14 are related to the other figure. But remember, probability is how many can you get over how many there total. That's all it is. Any questions on probability? Number 3. All right, looking at number 3, what is the probability of the spinner not landing on B? There's a not on B. So I'm going to see how many are not B's. 7 out of 8. All right, any other questions? 4, 5. All right, let's take a look at 4. Do you have an equal chance of landing on either C or E? So let me see. For C, I know there's 4 C's. So probability of landing on C is 4 out of 8. Now for E, I notice there's only 1 E. So probability of landing on E is 1 over 8. Now my question is, are those two probabilities the same thing? No. And then Eric asked for 5. See, what is the probability of the spinner not landing on B or C? So not landing on B or C. So let me see which ones of those are not B or C. I see 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to call that 3 over 8. All right. Any other questions? Do keep in mind this Friday we do have a test though.